Hello and welcome to the stream and part 2 of number 19 of the Digital Homicides stream discussional podcast thingy. And with me, as always, is Lothar. Hi Lothar.
Hi everyone, I tried to.
Hello. Alright, we have more history class planned for today.
Yep.
So, buckle up.
And before we're going to start, I want to say something like this. I was against prolonging this stream, basically. The last Thursday when we didn't go live and decided to go on Friday, I was like, dude, please don't. I'm going to find more shit to put in the script. And guess what happened before part 2?
We got more
I
shit in
found
the
new shit to
script.
put in the script.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we try to put it in one stream today. Might work.
At least as far as we can.
Yeah.
Get ready for the part 3.
Yeah, I
And,
I don't worry that there will be not enough content for part 3, so
yeah, definitely. And before we starting, I wanna say one more thing. Last time we finished on order 227. We read the text of the order 227, but what I forgot to do is mention what the fuck order 227 actually ordered. In my in the script, it basically has sense because we're reading the text, and I'm talking about consequences of this order, basically penal battalions and penal companies and barrier troops. And we basically ended by reading the freaking text of the order, but forgot to mention what the fuck it actually ordered. So we're kind of going to return to order 227, but before that, something that we must continue is why I mentioned that Soviet people basically had no choice but to fight in Great Fatherland War or in World War II, and basically had no luxury into retreating further east or basically surrendering themselves. And that's when we're going to talk about quotes that I mentioned the last time. The first quote going to be from the book of Janusz Gumkowski and Kazimir Limzhenski. Sorry if I butchered those names. Poland under Nazi occupation.
and I was happy that you're reading those names, but you butchered them as well.
I read the Russian transliteration of those names, but not right now. I forgot to put it on the screen.
Yeah, I think it's Leschinsky. Anyway. All right, then let me read this here. Let me put this here, that reads it easier for me. All right. Under Generalplan Ost, because that's the German name for it, General Plan Ost, all Slavs unfit for Germanization were to be expelled from the areas marked out for German settlement. In considering the fate of the individual nations, the architects of the plan decided that it would be possible to Germanize about 50% of the Czechs, 35% of the Ukrainians, and 25% of the...
Belarusians.
Thank you. The remainder would have to be deported to Western Siberia. So over to over in Lothar's direction.
No, it's further west. Oh, further east.
Yeah, anyway, Lothar might be German today.
No, no,
Okay.
no. Okay,
Um,
it's western Siberia. Yeah, yeah.
Generalplan
Basically behind the Ural.
Generalplan Ost stipulated after Wetzel's revisions that 50 million people, mainly Slavs, were to be deported from Eastern Europe. Their place could be taken over a period of 30 years, allowing for the natural increase and immigration from other Germanic countries, at most by 10 million, though probably not more than 8 million settlers. Dr. Wetzel realized the difficulties that would arise in the settlement of the eastern regions, but he consoled himself with the thought that a similar situation once faced North America. The use of this analogy suggests a further train of thought, admittedly not pursued by Wetzel, but which can hardly be ignored. The Americans were incapable of exploiting the vast territories they had acquired through the extermination of the Indians and had to resort to black slave labor. Let's say it like that, because they used a different word.
It
Since it
was
was
written in Poland, so it's okay.
yeah, it was written in Poland, different time and stuff. The Nazi scheme to detail manpower from among the native population to work in the on the farms of German settlers strongly recalls the buying of slaves by American farmers and plantation owners in the first half of the 19th century. The scheme didn't talk about the hiring of farm laborers, but expressly used the word detailing. In other words, the willingness, or at the very least the wishes of the people concerned, was to be completely disregarded. In addition, the laborers assigned to each farm would have belonged to different nationalities, unable to speak each other's language. It was supposed that this would force the laborers to use German, the only language that all of them would out of necessity know, and thus hasten the process by which they would lose their sense of nationality and even bring about their Germanization. It seems, however, that the main object was to hinder any opportunities for collision which might lead to passive resistance or even organized revolt against the Germans.
So far, so good. It doesn't sound as tyrannical or awful as it can be. Don't you think?
Depends, I guess. I mean,
Well, it already sounds a lot better than yeah, kill all of those motherfuckers.
yeah, that's true, but if you think about it, yeah, sure, it sounds good for one side. I mean, not for those millions of upcoming slaves and laborers. So yeah, for the Nazis, sure, yeah, just don't kill them, don't get rid of them, use them as workers. Yeah, that was their plan. Uh, yeah, might seem to be more humane at first, but we know how um, what slavery is and means, and it's not good. So it's it's death in raids basically.
And we have another quote from Oliver.
Oliver Radkolb.
How? Yeah, okay, thanks you. Oliver Radkolb, revisiting the National Socialism legacy. Oh, for fuck's sake. The European people to be considered were. Can you read it? I think I. Mm,
The European people to be conquered
yeah, thanks.
were hierarchically ranked into alien and Germanic races. Accordingly, there were plans to give Europe a new structure. In Western Europe, a work-sharing industrial society under German leadership. In the countries of the East, Southeast, and later also of the South, the exploration of raw materials and manpower. Being Slavs, the Russians, Ukrainians, Poles, and Serbs were only slightly above the Jews in the racial hierarchy. Their fate was to be enslavement or death. The realization of those aims began immediately after German troops had entered Poland on September 1st, 1939. Polish prisoners of war worked in the German agriculture straight away and initially were treated by the people like former migrant workers that used to come for the harvest. Meanwhile, SS units began to eliminate the Polish intelle- and what intelligentsia
Intellectual.
and force the Jews into ghettos. Shortly afterwards, the deportation of civilian workforce, men and women, followed. At the same time, Nazi Party and the Gestapo launched a campaign against so-called Slavic Untermenschen. Untermensch is something like a lower human um, and human beasts. This campaign even reached the farthest schools. So yeah, Untermenschen is basically um, the Nazis saw themselves as um, the peak of the
Uberman.
human race, and pretty much every other race was below that. So every other race were Untermenschen. So unworthy or
Mostly non-Germanic races, especially Slavic, and specifically people who lived in Soviet Union, because it was a mix of races. Here we have Asians, there we have Finnish people. Those are Slavics already, not just Slavics. Here Belarusians, here Ukrainians, here Polacks, there are Czechs, and so on and so forth. It's crazy. How we can have this much ethnicities and live in some sort of peaceful relationship? Something definitely wrong here.
yeah, what's weird, and I don't know the full background about that. I mean, I know why Hitler hated Jews. That started in his childhood, basically from his father and stuff like that. I don't know if he had that much hate back then against Eastern Europe in general. So I don't.
Maybe he didn't, but Himmler did have, because even though I didn't put any direct quotes for him, but it's basically known that he used to talk about specifically everyone who lived in Soviet Union, that it's basically crazy how they can all live together and they basically should not exist.
Mm,
And again, first thing that we read about is that Poland under Nazi occupation, it has a little bit, not this, a little bit uh, bright in it. So we enslaving those people, and those who we can't enslave, we got sent into Western Siberia.
mm,
And already in revisiting of what was the system called? National socialism.
mm.
We already can see that it's not talking about expelling people into another region when they basically will die from overpopulation and stuff like that. Charming, humane thing.
Yeah. So either slavery or dying in Siberia from freezing to death or starvation.
Exhaust resources and other stuff like that. In revisiting National Socialism, we already have stuff like either enslavement or death.
Mm,
And this either enslavement or death, basically stuff that my ancestors basically met. We didn't have a choice in a war that enslavement or be sitting in eastern part of Russia and be like, at least we survived. It was either enslavement and working till your death,
mm.
or die right here and there. There was not a lot of Soviet POVs, specifically in 1941. Germans specifically always looked for Jews. It's basically granted, but they also looked for communists and commissars.
Mm.
Those three category of people, they never were. They never in prison. They was killed right here and there in front of another people who was lucky enough to be put in German labor camps
Mm.
or concentration camps. And if you're going to talk about how much Soviet POVs returned from basically Nazi enslavement and how much German troops, Wehrmacht troops, returned from Soviet working camps, then from Germany into Soviet Union returned less than 56%. I want to say died 56% of all POVs.
Mm.
Those people was either killed in the camp or worked to death.
Mm.
While from Soviet prison returned, didn't return only 14%. And those 13% mostly accidents, like accident on a production, accident because they died from cold, accident like I know for sure this motherfucker killed my brother.
Mm.
Can you look the other way? Oops, that was an accident.
Yeah, okay, yeah. He fell into a knife
Yep.
10 times.
And other stuff like that. It's not like Soviets tried to kill those Germans. Those
Mm.
Germans were supposed to build stuff that they destroyed on the other side of the country.
Mm.
We basically was we basically were more interested in having them alive and building stuff.
Yeah.
For example, right here in Novosibirsk, we still have buildings that was built by German POVs.
German
We even
quality.
have mostly Soviet, because barracks for them was built by Soviet people, and those barracks still stand for some reason. But still, we reuse those things. Ah, and let's go back to Order 227. We had the text in the last one, so text didn't change from the last episode, and he didn't change since the time when it was printed on the paper. For some reason, I don't know why, but this order didn't change for more than 50 years.
I don't think that will change.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. People already rewriting the history, so
Mm.
there will, there will be some motherfucker who will be like, yeah, I know for sure that Stalin couldn't write this thing. He definitely writes something like, bring me toddlers, I want some blood. And also kill everyone who will run away from the battlefield. So, specifically, what Order 227 did? As I mentioned at the start, he basically included two things. penal battalions and penal companies. And again, I didn't put this in the translation, and that's something that I basically should have put in this text. Stalin specifically saying that he's taking the idea of penal battalions and penal companies from Germans.
Well,
So whenever we're going to see here, and the stuff is actually told about that Soviets was so freaking inhumane that they made penal battalions and penal companies just to make them fight on hard parts. Hard parts of the front line. I didn't know how to say it better. That's basically a lie. Penal battalions and penal companies exist since Roman Empire. And when we made our penal battalions and companies, we basically did what Germans did before that. It's never was. Oh, no, that was mentioned in the game. Okay. In the game Company of Heroes 2, I'm just reminding why we're talking about World War II right now. We're still talking about Company of Heroes 2. In the game Company of Heroes 2, the main hero, like our. What's the name of this camp? Okay, forget about it. He's Count and a coward and a traitor. He don't deserve a name. Hero of the game basically was sent in the penal. For some reason, he was sent into a penal company. But there are a difference between penal battalion and penal company. Penal company for soldiers. Penal battalion for officers. And this thing was made so soldiers wouldn't so those soldiers, even if they served with the same officer who in penal company, to preserve hierarchy. It's basically was to preserve hierarchy. In penal battalions, all was officers, so yeah, they were on the rights of ordinary soldiers. They were privates in penal company, no, in penal battalion, and every medal and orders that they had during this war, it was confiscated before they either die in penal battalion or return from the penal battalion into a regular army. The most time that people spent in penal battalion and penal company was 3 months. After that, no matter what, you return to your previous company.
Okay.
And with new rewards, if you could get one. And with all rewards and with returning into hierarchy, into military hierarchy. So basically, when people saying that penal battalion and penal company just a one-way ticket to death, that's definitely a lie. It's not like every person who was sent into a penal battalion never returned from that thing. And in game it was like, yep, you are sent into a penal battalion. I'm going to die for 100%.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And try to guess what main hero did into Company.
Die?
He survived!
Oh. Aha.
Yeah. We already started the talk about the Company of Heroes 2. Okay, it was 1 week ago, but still. That our main hero is sitting basically in jail.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So yeah, he was sent into Bill Company. He was certain that he will going to die there, and he motherfucker survived.
Mm.
How?
Hmm. Magic.
Yeah, it's definitely because he wrote the truth and so freaking truthful truth that the most truthful man would be looking at that and say, "Man, you're a freaking liar." Okay, so I mentioned penal battalions. So barrier troops. Barrier troops is basically, I'm going to mention again enemy at the gate. So, when soldiers of Red Army storming German positions in enemy at the gate, this with one rifle for two soldiers, one soldiers having bullets and the other with rifle. Uh, they storming Germans' positions. For some reason, Germans firing them with a machine gun.
Hmm.
I wonder why. And that definitely not the first attack because Germans have not only machine guns but also already good positions, more than one machine gun, tank.
Mm.
Basically, every, every detail tells us that Germans already saw the Red Wave, and not once or twice. It's already a routine for them.
Mm.
And when Germans killed at least half of the army soldiers, the other half was like, maybe attacking Germans in German positions in front without any artillery and with one guns for two soldiers. Not very smart decisions.
You
They turn
think?
around and start running back.
Mm.
And back, then they met NKVD in the barrier troops who killed the other half that Germans didn't kill.
Mm. Ah,
That's a fucking great plan, Walter.
it's been so long when I saw that movie. Damn. I was still married.
What's the point? What's the point of killing the soldiers that couldn't storm positions without the equipment that was supposedly used for storming those positions? What the point in storming position that has a tank without anything that can destroy tank?
Yeah, that was the rifle they got, right?
Yep. No, yep, that one.
So that's basically, yeah, you shoot one bullet, you reload, you shoot one bullet, you reload.
It's like 5 bullet rifle or something like that.
Mm.
But yeah, 5 bullets and you're like, okay, you can just kill me.
Yeah. Wait. Drop your weapon. I just hit you with my club that looks like a rifle. Wait, wait. The guy with the bullets is behind me. Oh, he got shot.
Yeah, wait a second. I'm going to go back to him, take his bullet, reload my gun, and we can start talking again.
Yeah, or the other way around. Oh, wait. I just have 5 bullets. Wait. Let me get a rifle. Um. Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. And for some reason, person who wrote this book, person who wrote this scenario, person who filmed this movie thought, yeah, this makes fucking sense.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, any Red Army officer would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Did you drink a lot? Are you on the drugs? What the fuck is wrong with you people? And you know why they are storming? No, that's okay. In Call of Duty, there is a similar scene, and you know why Red Army storming some random street? Not in enemy at the gate. In enemy at the gate, neither of those three writers, scenario writer or director couldn't think about it. But people from Activision and people who worked on Call of Duty basically think for a good idea for an army to storm a random street in Stalingrad.
Mm.
Do you know why?
Yeah, totally makes sense. No?
No. Red Army was ordered to capture the random street because this random street had statue of Stalin.
Oh. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Super fucking strategic point.
Yeah, definitely. If that statue is taken down, I mean they have to drop their weapons, right? I mean it's like taking down a cross or something.
Yep. And if Germans for some reason would like to drop the Lenin statue, every Red Army soldier in 50 kilometers radius should make seppuku.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, okay,
Those are basically most crucial points in the city.
yeah,
Statue of Lenin and statue of Stalin.
yeah. Oh, you took down our statues. Okay, you won. We lost.
Yeah,
Sorry. It's your country now.
yeah. You did what? Ah, fuck's sake. You dropped the Lenin. Why?
Yeah.
We like this guy. Please don't kick us.
We're gonna shoot you now for that. and make you rebuild it. Twice as big.
Yeah.
In our labor camp. And if you're lucky and you don't have an accident where when you stumble and fall into a knife 10 times, you might actually be able to get home again.
Fun fact. Red Army soldiers protected German POVs from the populace.
Yeah, a bit like blacks protecting cops in the Black Lives Matters protests last year.
Not really, because those German POVs supposed to do work. They,
Okay.
yeah.
So they're
So
protecting their property.
if civilians would be like, we want those motherfuckers dead, it's not like, man, we know that you want them dead. We want them dead too. But first of all, it's going to be inhumane. Second of all, they should work.
Yeah. Do you want to do the job that the German is doing now? So yeah,
People, of course, wanted to do the job the Germans doing at the time. People would get money for that. But
do you think the
those
Germans
people,
do you think the Germans got money for what they were doing?
no,
Yeah, see,
Germans got free bed
another day to
and
live.
food.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was still uh, cheaper for them to have Germans do those shit jobs than have regular population do the jobs.
Regular population still was used to be in the same kind of jobs, but in more strategic regions like on, U, on uranium mines, golden mines, and something like that.
Hmm.
Those things were Germans were not allowed. Our own criminals and our own honest workers, yeah, those people can be used. Germans, no. Basically, we need our population on more strategic productions, like bullet productions, weapon productions, tanks production, and basically agricultural production.
Hmm.
So we wouldn't starve to death, and we would have the things to fight with.
Hmm.
Germans mostly used to be builders.
Hmm.
It's not like we was here's uranium, exit that way.
Hmm.
You taking this uranium ore and walking with it the, those a couple of kilometers. And if you grow further down, while you're doing it, congratulations!
You can carry more.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So again, thing that shown in Enemy at the Gate, in Call of Duty, and in Company of Heroes 2 are basically bullshit.
Hmm.
Barrier troops was basically in two types. One is NKVD based, and one is army based. NKVD basically it's military police.
Hmm.
It used to be around, but now it's got more things to do, like patrol around closest village and cities next to the front line. You look for deserters.
Hmm.
And army-based one, it's, well, basically how it was shown in Enemy at the Gate. People with two or three machine guns, with NKVD officer, and it's not like they shoot for everyone who, at least shoot to death everyone who was running away. Sometimes all you need to do is shoot the ground in front of the people. They would stay. And KVD officer, basically red commissar, getting to those people, swearing at them,
Hmm.
making his basically making his work, saying that you motherfuckers are Red Army soldiers, you didn't get the order to retreat. Why you retreated? Who started the panic? And basically, you motherfuckers should return back.
Hmm.
And you would be surprised, but most people did. Most people turn back and go back into attack. And we have actually statistics. Oh, yeah, basically army-based barrier troops mostly used to be mostly was used behind penal battalions and penal troops, and battalions and troops that already shown that they can retreat without an order. It's not like every part of the front saw barrier trooper. Okay, so statistics. During the time of from August 1st of 1942 and October 15 on 1942, barrier troops and basically army-based one stopped 140, basically 141,000 men. 3,000 3,900 were arrested. Shot was 1,100, well, basically 1,200.
Mm.
2,700 were sent to penal companies, and 185 were sent into penal battalions, and 131,000 were sent back to their companies without any consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Shocking! When you're looking at the numbers, they kind of not fitting the story that people trying to tell you.
Yeah, I don't really know about numbers, so.
Oh, shit. Huh. We also have. Okay, it was never in the game, and I don't know how to put it to.
I do
How
have the
to put
game
it into
actually, I think,
Convoluted.
but
I have it as well. Humble give it away for free, but still, when I claimed it, I was like, oh yeah, I played into the demo. I don't want to play it.
Yeah, the weird part is I have 1.8 hours in and I cannot remember. I don't remember playing it, seriously.
Okay, let's get back to our little beautiful princess who basically a coward and a traitor.
Oh yeah, I played it 5 years ago. Almost 6 years ago.
So, our Kant saying that it's before he was sent into penal battalion, but he it was the first time when he said it in the game, but he said the same thing several times in the game. It's not like, hey, I'm going to say it right here and there. He's going to repeat it over and over and over.
Mm.
That Soviet soldiers had no other choice but to fight Germans. I wonder why they had no other choice, especially when we read those beautiful lines about Generalplan Ost and all the stuff.
Mm.
The problem is people from 21st century can't even understand the person from the 20th century, especially from different countries, especially communists.
Mm. Yeah, it's
And
been a long time.
and different system as well.
Yeah, and I mean there's still survivors from World War II, but not for that much longer, I think. So
We don't have much left, actually. Most of them already dead.
yeah, I mean it's 80 years almost. So
Yep. And a lot of people weren't on war. Used to be young people.
Yeah, yeah. Those who still live were born back then or grew up or something like that. But active soldiers or something, yeah, I don't think that there's anybody left.
Last active soldier from the Soviet army resigned in 90s.
No, I mean
Oh,
somebody who was fighting back then being still alive.
yeah, there is a couple of people, but a lot of veterans in Russia, mostly civil veterans, veterans of the labor,
Mm,
at least one who's still alive. And again, when the main hero of Soviet campaign and not Allies DLC, saying stuff that would put basically a person from Soviet Union in a little bit of rage.
mm.
For example, Konstantin Simonov wrote some beautiful poetry, and I don't think that I could read it in English. Eh, again, I'm going to. Well, you know what I mean, don't you?
Yeah. Is that
You
meme?
can. Yep. You can just put it on the screen with. You can just put it on the screen and we'll basically have English text on the screen.
Oh, you want to read the Russian?
Yep, because I definitely won't going to be able to read English.
All right. I think you can read that. Make that a bit bigger.
I have it open on my screen, so yeah. Just for the reference for people, so they could see the English text.
Wait, that's actually
So
bigger.
basically from the start. Если дорог тебе твой дом, где ты русским выкормлен был, под бревенчатым потолком, где ты в люльке качаясь плыл, если дороги в доме том тебе стены, печь и углы, дедом, прадедом и отцом в нем исхоженные полы, если мил тебе бедный сад с майским светом, жужжанием пчел, и под липой 100 лет назад в землю вкопанный дедом стол, если ты не хочешь, чтоб пол в твоем доме немец топтал, чтобы он сел за дедовский стол и деревья в саду сломал, если мать тебе дорога, тебя выкормившая грудь, где давно уж нет молока, только можно щекой прильнуть. Если вынести нету сил, чтоб немец ее застав, по щекам морщинистым бил, косы на руку намотав, чтоб те же руки ее, что несли тебя в колыбель, немцу мыли его белье и стелили ему постель, если ты отца не забыл, что качал тебя на руках, что хорошим солдатом был и пропал в карпатских снегах, что погиб за Волгу, за Дон, за отчизну твоей судьбы, если ты не хочешь, чтоб он перевертывался в гробу, чтоб солдатский портрет в крестах немец взял и на пол сорвал, и у матери на глазах на лицо ему наступал. Если хочешь, если жаль тебе, чтоб старик, старый школьный учитель твой, пред школой в петле поник, гордой старческой головой, чтоб за все, что он воспитал, и в друзьях твоих и тебе, немец руки ему сломал и повесил бы на столбе, Если ты не хочешь отдать ту, с которой вдвоем ходил, ту, что долго поцеловать, ты не смел, ты ее так любил, чтоб немец ее живьем взял силой, зажав в углу, и распяли ее втроем, обнаженную на полу, чтоб досталось трем этим псам в стонах, в ненависти, в крови. Все, что свято, берег ты сам, всею силой мужской любви. Если ты не хочешь отдать немцу с черным его ружьем дом, где жил ты, жену и мать, все, что родиной мы зовем, знай, никто ее не спасет, если ты ее не спасешь. Знай, никто его не убьет, если ты его не убьешь. И пока его не убил, то молчи о любви своей. Край, где рос ты, и дом, где жил, своей родиной не зови. Если немца убил твой брат, если немца убил сосед, если б это брат и сосед твой мстят, а тебе оправдания нет. За чужой спиной не сидят, из чужой винтовки не мстят. Если немца убил твой брат, это он, а не ты, солдат. Так убей же немца, чтоб он, а не ты, с земле лежал. Не в твоем дому, чтоб стон, а в его по мертвым стоял. Так хотел он, его вина. Пусть горит его дом, а не твой. Пусть не твоя жена, а его пусть будет вдовой. Пусть исплачется не твоя, а его родившая мать. Не твоя, а его семья. По напрасту пусть будут ждать. Так убей же хоть одного, так убей же его скорей. Сколько раз увидишь его, столько раз его убей.
I think I almost got the timing right with the scrolling.
Good job. So basically, no matter what games like Company of Heroes, no matter what games like Call of Duty World at War basically not as bad, but still not really that good. Books like Enemy at the Gate, movies like Enemy at the Gate. When saying that Red Army had no motivations to fight beside those barrier troopers behind them. What was that I read right now? It was written in 1942. That was what people thought. People demanded the revenge.
Mm.
They want to see Wehrmacht dead.
For obvious reasons.
Yep.
I mean, they come to your country and kill everybody. What are you supposed to do? Look and be like, oh yeah, okay, oops.
You know, basically, if we're looking at the games like Enemy, for fuck's sake, Company of Heroes 2 and Enemy at the Gate, yes, Russians should just go behind the Ural and wait when allies would rescue them. That's basically the message that I'm getting from those things. And the problem is, if I'm going to return to Enemy at the Gate, stuff that shown like Soviet troops getting be on the opposite side of the river was always happening during the day. The Germans can just bombard those soldiers with artillery or soldiers with artillery or planes. That Red Army soldiers get into the fight non-organized, without the weapons. And those weapons they got only when they got into the fight, but still not any idea of organizations like this is your sergeant, this is your this is lieutenant who is basically right about you, this is his captain, and basically it's mostly people who you should know.
Mm.
Without any explanation, without training how to fight inside the city. It basically wasn't like that. Again, in Enemy at the Gate, we're seeing the story of Alexander Zaitsev, Soviet ace sniper. And funny thing is, Alexander Zaitsev wrote the book himself, not Enemy at the Gate. He wrote the book There Was No Land for Us Beyond Volga.
Mm-hmm.
And he definitely is telling the different story. It
So
was like
did they base the movie on his book then?
no, they based on the book Enemy at the Gate. I didn't read the book, but I have a feeling that it's going to be a charming reading, and I'm too fucking live like my nerves to read this book. To find this book basically right now is almost impossible, at least a hard copy.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody can find an English translation, I don't know if it's even existed or not. There was no land for us beyond Volga or beyond the Volga. I don't know exactly how it was put. Yeah, I definitely recommend to read this book to see how exactly stuff that happened in Stalingrad that was depicted in the movie Enemy at the Gate happened.
Mm.
And basically, we're going to close right now Company of the Hero chapters because it's already 1 hour.
Yeah, that's true.
For definitely, I'm going to recommend to read stuff like this. Triton, can you read? I'm definitely will butcher every word in this name.
Keine Kameraden. Die Wehrmacht und die sowjetischen Kriegsgefangenen 1941 bis 45. No comrades. Yeah, the Wehrmacht and the Soviet POWs.
Was written by
Christian Streit.
yeah Christian Streit. Soviet historians had a little bit of questions to that work, specifically how he interpreted how stuff happened in Soviet Union and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Streit physically couldn't know a lot of those stuff, and when he's saying that stuff was happening like this and that, we basically have non-translated from Russian documents who saying actually it was like that.
yeah, I don't know him or that book or anything, but I think he's more picturing the Nazi side of things.
Yep,
So
and
to make
no,
there was a lot of propaganda going on back then to make things that happen or things the Nazis did kind of acceptable for the regular population.
yep,
Like
and again, this book is actually it's an academic work. It's good monography. It's basically worth reading, and even though he have some stuff wrong in it, but when it comes to Soviet, when it comes to when it's about Soviet POVs, it's definitely saying a lot of interesting things. Well, interesting in a way we, we didn't know ourselves what Germans did with Soviet POVs for 100%. We know only stuff that survived members of those POV camps said.
Mm. Yeah, so that's basically his point of view about the stuff, how it worked, or what they did, or but they were no
No,
friends. It basically means they're no friends. It's
yep,
they're no friends. It's two different things kind of working together also.
yep. Again, it's a good academical work, so for the most part, his book is a part of academical circles, and it's quote worthy.
Hmm.
So yeah, for the most part, this book have no problem with Soviet historians,
Hmm.
just in some details, and it's definitely not trying to put stuff into any other perspective. He's talking with documents and work with documents and stuff like that. And freaking, let's go to Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Oh wait, that's too big.
Let's just have Rise of the Tomb Raider at the start on the screen. Specifically, I need to see one particular part from this, basically from description of the game.
Okay, wait. Did I need this? And not this. Still need to continue with it.
Oh yeah. Can you scroll a little bit down? Till we see those. Um, yep, features. Can you read the first feature, and that's basically going to explain why I'm even talking about this game.
Lara's journey. Lara uncovers an ancient mystery that places her in the crosshairs of a ruthless organization known as Trinity. As she races to find the secret before Trinity, the trail leads to a myth about the lost city of Kites. Kites? Kitesh?
Kiddish.
Kitesh. Lara knows she must reach the lost city and its hidden secrets before Trinity. With that, she sets out for Siberia on her first tomb raiding expedition.
Where should I start? So let's start with just with stuff that we heard about. Siberia. And specifically in games said that it's Western Siberia, at least in Russian translation. So let's have a Russian map, shall we? See that green shit?
Yep.
That's Western Siberia.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, can you open the second link?
Yep.
We see Nizhny Novgorod here. Can you zoom a little bit out? No, from the map. It doesn't look too much Siberian.
Oh, then I have to open the other map. Wait. Hello? Browser? Thank you. Let me actually copy this and put it in another browser.
So basically, Lara looking for Kitishgarad somewhere in the green. But Kitishgarad way,
Yeah, I'm
way in western. It's basically much closer to Moscow than to Siberia.
Oh, so the red point is where in reality that location would be?
Yep,
So it isn't even in Siberia.
yep.
Oh, okay.
It's not even an Asian part of Russia.
Okay, okay, now I get it.
Yep. So even if Lara have like uh, like parameter 100, even if she most luckiest person in the world, she physically can't find Kitishgrad in Siberia.
So it's
Can
basically
you
on this map it's basically here where the cursor is moving, I guess.
somewhere right there? Yeah.
And the game tells you it is over here.
Yep.
Well, I think they chose Siberia as a theme because they wanted to have snow in the game. I don't know.
You know, they actually, besides snow, wanted to have a mountain in the game, mountains in the game.
Mm.
But mountains they do in this game, it's not Siberian mountains. Not even close. Uh,
Yeah, because
so,
there are different parts in Russia where you have way more mountains.
yeah, and they basically mostly alongside China.
Mm.
Can you open the link Russian border at 12th century?
What is what here?
Dark green in the middle,
That's is
Nizhny Novgorod.
oh.
That's where should be that Kitishgrad.
Mm-hmm.
So the story says like that. Before Mongolians' invasion, Kitishgrad basically submerged onto the bottom of the lake. And that's how Russia looked like in 12th century,
Mm-hmm.
basically before we became part of Mongolia. As you can see, Siberia not even in the sight.
Yeah, yeah, kinda. I have a hard time with that map. Being all in Russian. I,
Well,
and I'm not really used to the East when it comes to the map. I know Russia is huge, but
let's just say that the most western point is basically city beyond Ryazan, and basically it's where our border ended.
mhm,
We physically couldn't have a Russian city back in Siberia.
mm,
And the next two links.
where am I? Here.
That's basically Russia acquiring Siberia.
Mhm.
And the next one is going to be the
Okay, okay.
Okay, dark green, it's our. Well, you basically can see how Russian border changed in time.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, we got that part of Siberia in 17th century.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit after Mongolian Empire exploded.
That is
Just
Siberia.
a tiny bit, somewhere around. What was that? At least no, 15th century, and we got independent. A couple of centuries after we got our independence from what the name of it? From Golden Horde.
This map looks like a Russian invasion.
Yep, and basically the previous picture showed how much people who lived in Siberia liked new neighbors.
Yeah, they were like, hey, let's have a party.
Yeah, with bow, arrows, and
Yeah,
guns.
let's
A
let
lot of guns.
let's have a trade. Let's exchange some bullets and some arrows.
Yep. I don't actually remember why we even bothered to go through the. Oh yeah, I kind of remembered why we bothered to go through the wrist.
I
We didn't have much land to expand on the west, therefore we decided, screw it, we're going east.
we go the easier way.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I guess it was resources and stuff.
every country decided one day or another they want to expand either way.
They just want to be peacefully expanding the country.
Yep, natives.
And
What
and if
natives?
and if peace needs violence, well,
We come in peace. We have a Jesus face on our banner. It's right there.
yeah, oh,
Yeah, it's just why, it's just Lara killed a couple of bears. One of them were even in hand-to-hand combat.
I don't remember. I think I didn't play that far. Yeah, hand-to-hand combat against a bear when you don't even have a knife or anything, that's not gonna work. A grown
What
bear will just hit your head with his freaking paw and while doing so, ripping your head apart because those
and it's a
claws.
Siberian bear.
Yeah, and there's those are
It's not a medium-sized bear. It's a freaking big bear.
yeah, those are what, like 3 meters when they stand up or something like that. 250, three
Yes,
meter.
something around.
Anyway, you have no chance against that. It's not like they're 1 meter 80 and 80 kilograms. No, they're a few hundred kilograms and definitely bigger than you. Okay.
And have a thicker skin.
Yeah, that's
So you could not just, hey, you come over here, you freaking
yeah.
baby bear overgrown motherfucker.
If you don't have a chance to hit him right on his nuts, there's no way that that's gonna end in any other way than the bear having some dinner.
Even if you could hit him in his nuts, you will only make him much angrier. You need to hit him in nuts so freaking hard that he will die from this.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know how other species react to that. And if you're not a
Well,
Shaolin monk, that's the one point where you can actually get down pretty much everybody.
Yeah. Bear's still a questionable opponent.
Yeah, definitely. Nah, when a bear comes up from in front of you and you're not sneaking up on a bear, that would also be stupid. But nah, if you want to get face to face with a bear, nah, a bear just growling and then he makes bam and the fight is over. You don't survive that. I mean,
Basically, yes.
they have it's like somebody is hitting you really fast with 4 knives. That's basically what's gonna happen. You might survive the first hit with your arms, maybe they will break while doing so, I guess, and the next part will be either ripping off your head or just taking a bite. I mean, a human head for a bear is nothing. Fresh.
It is a thing. It is a thing that he can eat.
Yeah, it's dinner.
Yep.
It's fresh.
Ah, so for my and every other Russian who know what the fuck is Kitishgranit.
Oh, that's funny. Bear attack, know the symptoms. Sweating outburst.
Yeah,
Involuntary urination. Diarrhea, vomiting. Yeah, when he's that close. Headache. Dizziness. Sore neck. Sudden blackout. Congested breathing ripped in half. Alright. If you have any of these symptoms, inform your doctor that you're dead. Okay, that's funny. So that lost
again,
city of Kitesh, is that a thing? A real thing?
it is a legend.
Okay.
It's definitely a thing of legend for Russia.
So Russian
It's like,
folklore.
yep. So again, for my surprise, anyone who knows what Kitishgarat is and when the fuck it's supposed to be positioned, Lara found Kitishgrad.
She found Atlantis as well and other stuff. So
At least she found Atlantis underwater where it should be. She found Kitishgrad in a freaking different part of the country. In a part of the country that was the part of the country at the time.
that's why nobody finds it. Everybody's looking at the wrong position.
Yeah.
She just figured it out. Yeah. Brain. I mean, she got it.
How
Okay.
how Mongolians can conquer Russian city if Russian city not even in the Russian border.
Yeah. Magic. How to punch a bear. Warning. Dangerous. Find a bear. Make a fist. Die. Not recommended for people who are alive.
And besides Kittergrat, Lara found one more thing. I'm basically stealing the joke. Lara found the remnants of ancient, more advanced civilizations. Lara found a former Soviet camp.
Obviously.
Well,
They were
it's
just
not a
hiding.
questionable. It's not a question that Soviet had working camps, especially for prisoners in places when those prisoners couldn't just leave the prison and walk to the nearest city and be like, I didn't escape from a Soviet working camp. What are you talking about? I've just lost all documents and all my money.
I'm just a tourist.
Yep. So I have no questions that she found a freaking city, a freaking working camp right there. I have several other questions, but yeah, I think you want to read it.
Okay, yeah, that's how to hide from bears undetected is also funny. Uh, do you have actually a picture of the games as well, or just bear
Yep,
memes? Wait,
this one.
that's the one I copied already. Oh wait, there's only yeah okay, there's only one before that. I want to see all now. Steps to escaping a bear attack. What? Rawr! Slap slap. Bap bap. Make self bigger. Slap widely. Hit with stick. Scream in face. Bear spray. Kick in balls. Ah, okay. Step repeatedly. Unload a clip. Suicide vest. Kaboom. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Pray. Uh-huh. Duck and cover. Escape. Plop plop as the poop. Oh my god, wait, I have to move that. I have to move it so you can actually see that. That's how you escape the bear at the end after he's done with you,
Yep.
chewing
You
you
just
down.
naturally were separated from him.
Yeah, after he naturally separated your flesh from your bones. Wait, oh no, that's the one I already copied.
So yeah, in inside the Soviet worker camps, we have Lara finding ancient artifacts from the Soviet. If this motherfucker wouldn't load, I'm be really upset.
Yeah, it finally loaded.
Yeah, okay. So this thing Lara called a freaking prison card. Can you see something in this prison card that might tell you something like it's not really a prison card?
Hmm. I mean, I don't.
Top right side.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't know. Is that an address?
No, basically what she found in Siberia, she found a document of NKVD officer.
Of what?
She found a freaking document of police driver.
Oh, so basically like a driver's license.
Nope, uh, it's basically a document that said that this person working in Ukrainian police,
Mm-hmm.
and he's a driver for it.
Oh, okay. It's kind of hard to tell with the.
Ukrainian police officer in Siberia.
Yeah, yeah, that totally makes sense. And it's not a prison card. So not a
Yes.
prisoner card, not a prisoner card from Siberia, not even Siberian. Yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. But I wouldn't know. I mean, if I see that and wouldn't think too much about it, yeah, I see the picture that doesn't. Even if I even now knowing that that's a police driver, I mean that guy looks like he's straight out from a camp or something with the shirt being like, "Hey, wear this for the picture. We cannot show you on the picture with your dirty clothes and your rags and stuff. Wear that. Everybody's wearing the same shirt. That's basically what I would think. So knowing now that this is a driver's license is kind of funny though.
Again, it's not a driver license. It's
Yeah, yeah, but
basically a document that he is a driver for the police.
yeah. It's basically yeah. We have driver cards here as well for truck drivers, for example. They need a truck card from their company where their time will be saved and stuff. Totally different than back then, obviously. But yeah, you can show a document that shows that you're a driver for a certain company. So it's basically your business license or something, kinda.
Shit. I'm an idiot. It's actually said that he is a police officer. My bad.
That
Not a driver, he's a full-fledged police officer.
even weirder. Why is he wearing a shirt like that on a freaking picture like that? I mean, I
It's
know.
from 1940s.
Yeah, I know. Different
Soviet
time.
Union wasn't really that.
Yeah, but didn't the police have uniform or something?
We didn't have even a police force before and got out of the war.
Okay.
So yeah, he basically could look like this.
Yeah, okay.
The only thing that he is missing on the picture is blue hat.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, no, blue hat is for commissars.
But yeah,
I don't know.
something that would make him look like a cop, which he doesn't.
Yeah,
But here, his look is kind of badass actually. He has some kind of a "don't mess with me" look, you know.
yeah.
And knowing that he's a cop, yeah, okay. Don't mess with me. First I kill you, then I put you in jail. Oh wait, was it the other way around? It was a joke.
Again,
There was the same joke basically in Breath Edge, the game I finished last night.
oh, you actually finished it.
Yeah, I
Okay.
finished it. There wasn't that much content anymore. I played it for 1.5 or 2 hours or so in the last chapter. But
Okay.
great game, great end. The end was the last 10 or 15 minutes hilarious, but different story.
Okay, getting back to this thing. Lara said that this is a prison card. And she basically read the name of the person not in the right way as well. Instead of Kulbekin Alexei Nikolaevich, she said, I don't remember what.
Yeah, I have no idea. I couldn't read that.
And she claims like she knows Russian. She claims. She's basically trying to read stuff. And how she trying to read stuff? We're getting from the second screenshot.
Oh no, wait, was it? Yeah, I think I copied the right one. Yeah. All right. Oh wait, let me zoom that a little bit.
What I was saying when she's seeing this stuff, she's saying that it's basically a Soviet propaganda. Well, in a way it is, but it's a motivational propaganda in a way that this thing is shaped as order of victory.
Mm-hmm.
And what it says, I knew I should have just put it, put a description for it. Okay, it basically says, and it what the word? Give me a sec. Eternal glory to people who fought and died for freedom of Soviet people.
Mm-hmm.
But every time when Lara see this thing, text never ever change, by the way. She written stuff like, you can work even at night. Salary is something that you don't need. If you if you tired, it doesn't mean that you cannot work, and something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the stuff that put just to commemorate the victory of Soviet Union in the World War II and praise the fallen and still alive heroes.
Mm,
By developers put under the light, like, yeah, those people used to say those horrible things, which was never told by the Soviet Union.
mm.
And yeah, go for it, girl. You can read this text, and even though it's always the same text, you're going to read it in a lot of different way,
Mm.
and much worse. Then you.
Shit, I'm getting less motivated to play the game now. But I need to play this and the next one because this is the second one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I still need to play those. I want to play those for quite a while, but kind of procrastinating and having too many other games to play. But I should maybe just do a week or so where I'm not doing anything else than sleeping, eating, and streaming. A game per day or so.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah,
And that's what. Well, they, basically, what they put said as Soviet propaganda. Open the second link.
yeah, I'm on it. Just
But
takes
besides
forever.
this type of Soviet propaganda, game has a different type of Soviet propaganda that are not reading but destroying. And this is a poster with Yuri Gagarin.
Yeah, I wanted to say that I know that picture.
And what it says is, uh, okay, give me a second.
The freedom of thought. That.
I'm going to explain it.
Mm.
Authority, power, and communism.
Hmm.
And by destroying those posters, you basically, by destroying all of them, you're going to get an achievement, the freedom of thought.
Ah,
And I basically have an idea why they even did this. Have you heard about this movement in America about decoloni- decolonizing your mind?
not really.
Well, that's basically the book, the group of, let's just say, a certain individuals who are saying that whole freaking science that was bring bring them by whites is wrong, and it should be destroyed, and lightning happening not because of some physical processes but because it's magic.
Ah,
And before they will get the idea for themselves why lightning they're going to call it magic, no matter that already we have a solution why this happening.
yeah, I mean, we have a ton of flat earthers lately, even though we know for a long time that Earth is round.
Yep. So it's basically the same thing. Forget about that Soviets used to be first in the space. Forget about their first launch in the space. Forget about the space. Space doesn't exist.
Yeah, space is not
Moon
real.
landing doesn't exist.
Space is fake. I mean, we live on a flat Earth, and space is just an illusion. It's just don't believe everything they want you to believe and brainwash.
Lizards, man.
Yeah, lizard men and um, lasers from other countries in space and stuff like that. Yeah, that's all
I
true.
also have classic Jews.
Yeah, it's all we. That's we have UFOs. We have a hollow Earth as well. So it's a flat Earth, but it's hollow. Anyway, we can do another show for that.
Yep. And things that I'm kind of confused about that they don't have stuff like this.
Yeah, this looks like propaganda.
Yep.
This
And
looks
it's
like
basically,
communist propaganda.
yep, that's actually communist propaganda. And as you can see, the people of all different professions, military, miners, sportsmen,
Men, women,
astronauts, men,
everything.
women, everybody. All what we're doing it to build communism. We're walking into the bright future.
Mm,
And behind us is power that we build. We build it.
mm.
We are going, we are helping to the other people. We are going to help them to free themselves from their bourgeois government.
What does it say actually?
Um, we, we will come to victory of communistic communism labor.
Mm,
And it's basically an absence of private property on means of production. And when the result of production belongs to everyone, that's what if they used this one or any other like the next one as communist propaganda, it would be like, okay, that's actually a communist propaganda. That's a motivation for work and something like that.
mm. Yeah, if you see those two guys, yeah, you know it's Russian propaganda, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's not like showing Yuri Gagarin, a person who is recognized by the whole world, and
mm,
basically who was recognized as being a first man in space,
yeah,
and destroying posters with him and getting this freedom of thought. Again, I would be able to understand this thing.
mm,
It's not like I would be really glad to see those things destroyed, but yeah, I would at least understand why they destroying an actual communist propaganda.
yeah, exactly. There would be a reason behind destroying this, and not something science related, basically.
Um, yep, okay.
This one?
And no.
No?
I think it's basically what I wanted to tell about. For the most part, that's all that I want to talk about with Tomb Raider. I already talked about a lot about Soviet Union
Mm,
within context of World War II, and oh yeah, one more thing. In Rise of Tomb Raider, people who live next to the Kitchenergrad, basically offsprings of the people who built the city, said a freaking cool story how Soviets came to the region, how they started to digging in, into mountains for who knows what region, who knows what reason. how they enslaved the locals for basically no reason whatsoever,
Mm.
and how they started to rob not just they never found Kitish, but how they started robbing the random Orthodox churches that was built around the kitchens for who knows what reasons.
Mm.
And those churches had the gold, a lot of gold. Again,
Churches.
for who knows for what reasons.
Churches always have gold. I don't know. It's
Those people came from Byzantium to Western Siberia. I doubt that they would bring all this gold into Siberian mountains intact.
sure they did. Come on. They got it sent by UPS.
Yeah,
Express
definitely.
express delivery. No, with a drone, with a freaking Amazon drone. Oh no, wait.
Yeah,
No, they actually ordered at Alibaba. That's closer and faster from the east. Oh, never mind.
you know, might be, but I definitely think that they ordered with some kind of
Time
with
travel
some kind
device.
of courier, and not AliExpress or something like that. AliExpress would drop this gold to Russian post service, and because Russian post service didn't exist in Siberia, okay,
Well,
when we dropped it, then it's going to lay it down here.
we're out of it.
We don't care.
We did
Yeah,
we did our job. Bye.
yeah. So definitely was made with the drone. Then locals would be like, "Hey, shaitan am I?" and wouldn't even touch that flying shit.
Alright, moving on to the next game. It's already open in the background.
Yep,
Why does that
singularity.
still, after 11 years, almost 11 years, still cost 20 bucks?
Because Bethesda, I think, no,
No, it's
Activision.
Raven and Activision.
Yeah, because Activision.
Yeah, this is actually mostly because of Steam, I think. Not sure how much it would cost somewhere else.
Mm,
Steam often
it's
has
cool.
really high prices.
So, okay, why do I have singularity in here? Because it have an awful art style. I don't get the praises that Singularity got. Singularity is just a mediocre shooter, and I'm not, and I'm modern, and I know why it's even was the last game of Revel. It has some interesting mechanics, and when it comes to the art style, when when it's paranormal enemies, yeah, it's good stuff. When it comes to generic soldier enemies, of course, those freaking guys are options. And when it comes to Soviet aesthetics, man, it's not 90s. You can just Google how Soviet posters look like. You can basically see what aesthetics of the Soviet Union was. It's it's all wrong.
So
I'm looking at
does that play
yeah,
in Russia? Okay, here 1950s Russia
yep,
and modern day.
yep. And let me tell you the story of this game. This story is so fucking good that I'm still questioning how this would even fly in the real world.
Oh, I did. I played it. I didn't finish it, but I tried it.
Yeah, so I'm just going to mention it anyway for the people who are watching it. Maybe somebody didn't play it and maybe
Hmm.
somebody forgot about it. American spec ops getting incognito in Russian territory and looking around top secret Russian object. What could possibly go wrong beside an international incident? I can almost guarantee that even now, even in current day Russia, even in 90s, if any kind of foreign agent walk, even looked at the top secret Russian object that was abandoned, the person who left this object just to watch that nobody came even close to that would be like trespassers. And this fucking trespasser would be killed or arrested.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a freaking top secret object.
Mm.
And it's basically top secret science and military object. It's twice as high on priority list than anything else.
Mm.
Any kind of stripes and others would get you into trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember the movie that it was from, and I couldn't find the clip that this phrase from. But basically, just like in one of those movies, this mission never happened. Remember that.
Mm.
If you're going to be caught, we're basically going to say that you're acting on your own volition.
Yeah, we deny every contact or involvement into anything
Yep.
done
And
by
it's
you.
basically one of those missions.
Mm.
So guess what happened when those brave soldiers were caught by the Russian army?
They were fucked.
Basically, they are, but the sergeant was like, "I'm a fucking US Marine. You have no rights to imprison me, you stupid Soviet pig." Mate, you were caught on top secret Soviet object. Can't you even guess what's going to happen to you?
Can we get you a ticket to fly out of this country because you're not allowed in this country anymore for looking at secret stuff? And please don't tell anybody about it. Something like that?
Yep, yep. But basically, here's one-way ticket, and say hello to your great father.
Here's a shovel. Here's your ticket. It's a shovel.
Yep. Basically, people like that would, well, first of all, they would be imprisoned to get the whole information, like who you are, why you're here, what was your mission, and something like that.
Mm.
If they wouldn't be killed just here and there because they started to shooting basically at people who own this place.
Mm.
Basically something logical.
Pretty
But
much, yeah.
no, this Captain America was so freaking sure that he's owned this place because this was an abandoned Russian facility. American owned the freaking abandoned Russian facility.
Sure, I
Am
mean,
I the only one who see a little bit that it's not connecting, like or something like that?
isn't it? I mean, if I come to Russia now, I can just, if I find a building that's empty, I can just move in and start a company from there, take everything that's in there. Nobody would mind, right?
Yep. And not only in Russia, in Germany as well, in the USA as well.
Yeah, I know.
Empty building. Who cares who owned it?
Yeah, there's a
It's
factory.
mine now.
I saw a few empty houses. I mean, I don't want to live in my apartment anymore. A house would be nice. I mean, it's not that far away. Should maybe just see if the door is open and just move in.
Yep.
I mean, nobody
What
cared
could
the last 10
possibly
years.
go wrong?
Hey, nobody cared the last 10 years. Who's gonna care the next 20? No, but seriously,
Yep.
I was walking to the bakery a few days ago, and normally in this area here, I'm not walking that much in that direction at least. So you see more than just driving past. And I was like, why is this house freaking empty? And nobody, I mean, there's definitely nobody living there. There's no sign of selling or anything. The garden is just growing. It would be okay for me, I guess. But yeah, well, anyway, different story.
Yeah. If you're going to move in this building, suddenly will appear the owner of this building, and he will have a couple of questions to you.
Yeah, hey,
First of all, do you like your bones or not?
yeah. How do you like them? Attached or ripped off?
Yeah. Ah, and
Oh yeah, since you were
so
talking,
let's start with
you were mentioning the art style and stuff. Just to prove you wrong. Here, 1950s Russia and modern day, each rendered with stunning lighting, physics, and effects using the Unreal Engine 3 or Unreal 3 engine. So rendered with stunning light. Wait, I mean, I can see the screenshots as well. That doesn't really look too stunning, to be honest. But okay, yeah.
it's Xbox 360 time, so for the time it's definitely was looking about average.
Yeah, it was okay. I mean, it wasn't the best looking game. Um, what made it stand out, yeah, was the time traveling mechanic, basically.
Again, should I say that Red Army Soldier doesn't look like a Red Army Soldier even in 1950s?
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea because on the screenshots there are only monsters basically, and
There are a couple of soldiers.
yeah, but those are army soldiers, the first ones. Are those Russians? Oh, those supposed Russians. Okay. Well, really? That screenshot? I mean, I see the flag. Without the flag, this looks like an army soldier to me,
Red Army is an army.
right? Not?
Ah,
Looks
so
like.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, they have an AK. Okay, yeah.
they
A
have an AK and they have a helmet. What else do soldiers need?
Yeah, but again, if that wouldn't be an AK, but a Garand or whatever they used back then, it could as well be just an army soldier. They also had
Well,
those, or Ranger. No, I think Rangers used to have those kind of um um not like those boots, but they had those wrappings, those ankle wrappings and stuff. Anyway, I have no
what?
idea
For
about
fuck's sake,
1950s.
we used freaking. I'm sorry.
What? Send me a link.
We used high boots.
Yeah, those are high boots. I see that.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah. But as a first quick look, for me it was didn't look at the details, but as a first look, it looks like ally ally soldiers. Oh, I think I there we go.
You lost me.
No, no, I resized you again. I clicked something in Discord. You cannot open and read stuff in Discord when we use that like this.
So okay, going back to art style. That's how they drew this freaking poster.
I'm gonna open the other one in the background right away.
Yep.
Since that. Okay, that loaded faster. Okay, so this is game, in-game graphics. What does it say below that?
Be quiet.
Yeah, okay, kinda makes sense with the picture. Okay, so this is in-game graphics.
Yep, and just look at this shit. What do you mean be quiet?
And this is
This is a fucking original poster. The one they tried to copy.
mm-hmm. What does
As
it
you can see, it's already have a different colors, have a different, basically face already look different. And
yeah,
let me open this to see.
and this is more direct and more obvious. I mean this one since the finger is not right in front of the mouth, it could also mean listen or be careful or something like that. But
Yeah, be
but
careful. Don't say something bad about Soviets, or you will end up in Gulag.
yeah,
That's what I'm getting from this fucking poster.
and
And
this
I hate it.
and this year the original definitely tells me to shut the fuck up.
Yep, and it's basically what it says. Okay, so what it says is don't talk too much about your works. Any rumors can put you in. Any rumors that you're spreading can be heard by an enemy,
Mhm.
and that will make you a traitor. Don't talk.
Mhm.
It's already a different thing. It's not like be quiet.
Yeah.
It's it's a lot different.
Yeah, this is
Fish, you're here to work. You can talk about whatever you want outside the work, but don't talk too much about your work, especially with people you don't know.
yeah.
And even with people you know, you should think about what you're talking about.
Mm.
Don't spread any gossips.
I mean, it's kinda the same thing today in companies. Normally, when you work in a company, you're supposed. I mean, sometimes they tell you directly, but you're not supposed to talk about your salary, for example, because you might
Yep,
work in the same job like somebody else, but make more money or less money. And if you talk about what you make, the other one will be like, "Hey, why is he getting more for me doing the same job and I'm longer in the company and stuff like that?" So it's basically the same, and
yep,
this is even more because it's just basically keep your stuff to yourself because you might talk about something that might be interesting for a third company, so or different country, whatever. Um, yeah, so basically keep your work at work and your private stuff to the people you know and
yep.
protect the
And definitely don't talk with some kind of USA attaché about the top secret city that building in secrecy from the others.
mm, keep some secrets.
Yep. And for just for the reference, the posters with the same message, but drawn by different people and basically for different line of works. Don't don't talk too much on the phone. If you have some business work related business that confidential, you should talk them in private and not on the phone.
Hmm.
Again, different coloring, different expressions, different poses.
This is this the in-game one?
Nope, it's all how it used to be in the Soviet Union.
Okay.
Again, as you can see, spreading gossips, and you actually talk. No, this person might look normally, but he might be a German spy.
Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Nice Photoshop for back then. Yeah, seriously.
I know people used to people used to make some good stuff even when they created propaganda.
Yeah. I mean, I know it might sound shit and stuff, but when it comes to propaganda and to looks, design and stuff, the Nazis were just top notch. I mean, they knew their shit when it comes to marketing. It sounds really bad, and I don't want to praise the Nazis for anything, but black, white, and red, those colors, that's the color scheme, worked insanely well. It worked insanely well in black and white movies, but we had color back then. Um, the Olympiad games or Olympic games were filmed in freaking color. So insane shit back then. So and also the uniforms, the weapon SS uniforms. If you saw them, you basically if you had if you did something, you could pee your pants. They had the skulls on the colors and leather coats and shit. They looked badass. Hardly any army afterwards looked half as badass as those guys. So they knew how to um, promote their shit and to be badass. Still, it doesn't make anything what they did good, but yeah, when it comes to propaganda and stuff like that, yeah, they knew their shit.
Yep.
That was
And
that was
again,
the main and only reason why they had um, that much success with what they did, because the way how they did it and how they planned all that shit. And if the population back then would have read the book that basically every German had back then, Mein Kampf, My Fight from Hitler, if everybody would have read that stupid book from him, the Second World War would have not happened, because he told everything in that fucking book. If you read that book today, it's like, why didn't they do anything against it? He was
I want to fight Hitler. French and English didn't want to fight them.
yeah, I mean it's yeah, he wasn't yeah, never mind. He had a plan and it worked for him. It worked great. I mean, he was a mastermind with that plan, and he told everybody about that plan, and nobody fucking cared. And everybody was like, back when Trump was getting elected, yeah, he's not getting president. Ah, come on, nobody's gonna vote that body. And 4 years, the biggest moron was the president of the United States. So, and nobody could do anything against basically. So yeah, he also did some good propaganda back then. And yeah. Anyway, what does it say on that?
And I don't talk too much,
Oh yeah,
and
okay.
spreading gossips helping the enemy. And pay attention that those people who are listening have swastika.
Yeah, that's
And I'm mentioning that because there are still people who think that Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact made the Soviets and Germans best friends forever.
no, that
Those protests were drawn during this period.
yeah, this tells me don't talk, because a Nazi might listen. He might make big ears and wants to know shit. All right.
And then different art style, different poses, different colors, and not that pathetic. And I think the last one has several posters as well.
Wait, I have to check. This was this one? This one. Those are good graphics actually.
Yep. And we have and in the game we have this pathetic shit.
Yeah, I mean,
Again, that's why I'm saying it's not like you couldn't Google this shit.
yeah, that's
I
true.
found all of this in 5 minutes of search.
Those are all working without any text. That's freaking awesome. Those metaphors in pictures are freaking great. I mean, I'm a creative and I did logos and designs and stuff. This is some great artistic shit and it's freaking old as fuck. This is really this is just awesome. Wolf in the sheep's fur, or I don't know how you say that, but
Skin,
it's
basically.
yeah, it's we have that same term here. Um, so yeah, really nice, really nice.
There are several more. In fact, there's a lot more.
Yeah, I see. Oh, okay, I see that. Yeah, yeah, a Nazi might listen. Yeah,
And we basically need to look a little bit more into that because I'm definitely going to be mentioning the art style in the game a little bit later as well.
I really like those designs. They're really great. I mean, not the reason. I mean, yeah, kind of the reason is also great, but yeah, just from a hmm, explanatory point of view or tutorial kind of view or manual kind of view, awesome. I mean, if pictures can work without words, they're really great. Yeah, great stuff. All right, let's go to the wrong art style then.
Okay, vertical style, vertical style. And I took this from basically from the slideshow that you can see at the start of the game.
Hmm.
I didn't play much for Singularity, but I was like, damn, if I will continue to playing this game, I'm going to have at least 15 albums of stuff that I won't complain about. Oh yeah, I wanted to complain about the island that this shit happened on. Katorga 12.
This is kind
Do
of
you have an idea?
this is kind
Yeah,
of
okay.
weird. What is this supposed to be? Russian English translation thingy? Because they are part Russian letters and mostly this is basically English. I don't get it.
Okay, so let's start with the primitive question. Do you know what Katorga mean?
No.
It's basically right now it has the meaning of hard labor, but in Imperial Russia, this hard labor included imprisonment.
Hmm.
So you basically imprisoned and put into the hard labor. And the developers called the fucking most important, most secret place in this whole Soviet Union, but they say, but their own words, on the desert island next to Japan and named it Katorga.
Hmm.
Hard fucking imprisoned labor that you're doing against your own will. And more often than not, people used to die during their imprisonment because that how great condition used to be on those in those prison camps.
Mm.
And again, they named the most precious place, Qatar.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
And of all those posters that we saw right now, what this picture most look like?
That aggressive America wants to attack Russia or something like that.
Yeah, but did it even look like remotely as anything that we saw so far?
Oh no, this is 21st century art style. this, this is
Yes, and this particular Western art style.
yeah, this is totally graffiti. This looks like a graffiti you could spray on a wall, but not in 1940.
And again, not Russian, not even close.
Yeah, no, no, definitely not. Yeah, same with this. I mean, this looks pretty good. This looks like somebody not that capable of drawing people was drawing it. So even the
Maybe
1940s
not
stuff.
bad, but still, it's not even close to Soviet style.
Uh, no, also not. Nah, that's old school Disney more than this.
Yes,
This reminds me of the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
yep, definitely.
Put a freaking head on there and could be one of the dwarfs.
Or Pinocchio.
Yeah, this looks like out of a Fallout video or one of those. Yeah, one of those Fallout infomercials, with the Fallout guy doing stuff.
Yep.
Totally would fit into Fallout. Right, exactly like it is. Put a biohazard sign in here and you definitely have Fallout. Yeah,
His freaking face is basically a biohazard.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
Well, it has a little bit of that one when
yeah. There are
it has a
pictures.
little bit of Soviet.
Yeah, there are pictures that look kinda like that. So this is definitely the closest so far. But it also looks like a professional illustration and not like somebody drew a comic or something like the others.
Yep. Uh, yeah. Billboard. No, not billboard.
I mean, it doesn't look bad, but it's
Adboard.
yeah, it's just too
Doesn't look bad. Asian Stalin? Black Lenin?
yeah.
Doesn't look bad.
No, I mean, yeah, from that, yeah, if you look closer into that, no, I meant the style itself, how it's drawn, but that's also too modern. It's just too, it's kind of 21st century style of drawing things. I don't know. It's
At least the end of 20s.
yeah,
The end of 20th century.
this looks more like a tattoo that you could do as a tattoo from the style, you know. The
Yeah,
last
I
one,
get what you're talking about.
the American stuff back there. What is the hand with the American flag? Is that supposed to be? I don't know. Is it just an American hand basically grabbing for Russia? I guess.
Let me open it. I'm trying to see it.
Yeah, it looks like
Yep,
it's
it's
the
I'm
American flag is a palm
it's
and
basically a capitalist hand.
yeah, okay, yeah, capitalist hand. Yeah, okay, that fits.
They at least tried, but we used to draw it in black and with claws.
Mm, yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, nah. I don't remember the name of the game, but there was a game coming out a few months ago. It's basically, I think it's, is it World War One or two? I think it was Second World War. Um, and it uses the kinda art style that they used back then on flyers and stuff for the whole game
Mm-hmm.
graphics. Makes the game look really
Hmm.
different. Um, but it feels like you play a game that could also have been out in the time back then, just from the art style. It's all in black, white, and gray. That's it's not really gray, that's yellowish gray kind of style, sepia
Yeah,
kind of,
I know what you're talking about.
and looks a bit like paper cuts. A really, really interesting game. It's supposed to be a pretty good adventure game. If I remember the name or see it somewhere, I let you know. It's a really interesting game.
Yep.
Should I go with the upper one or the other one?
Yeah, let's start with the upper one. And that's my problem with Singularity. For me, Singularity is way off the chart of a good game because of its bad art style.
What does that say?
Glory to Communistic Party of Soviet Union.
Okay.
That's something that you definitely can have at the peer that welcomes new workers, new scientists, new soldiers on the island.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely something that I found. Yeah, that's definitely can be here. It's not a standard greeting, but yeah, okay, that's have a place in here.
Yeah, but besides that, doesn't look that bad.
And here we go. English letter on a Russian building.
Yeah, totally makes sense.
At first I was like, maybe this place was built for American spies. So
Yeah.
Soviets, in their internal wisdoms, foreseeing that the American spy would get into this top secret object and he would feel himself lost and uncomfortable. And they would feel like, let's name everything in English.
Yeah, that's
People can read English, and this guy at least feel himself at home and won't feel like he's violated or his human right is violated or something like that.
let's include let's make him feel included,
Yeah,
like being part of
not
something.
not the phrase in Ukraine, not the phrase in Belarus, not the phrase in Kazakh, not the phrase in Polish, not the phrase in Lithuanian, not the phrase in any other language that was used in Soviet Union. F- Definitely phrase in English.
Yeah, this is stupid. I mean, this is really stupid. This would be. I mean, I I did play it, but I didn't finish it or anything. But if I play a game that plays in Russia, I actually expect not to be able to read anything. I played games that play in Russia or are even games from Russian developers have Russian words in them sometimes or Russian poster or something where I'm like, Sorry. um, but yeah, playing Stalker or something and having all English words everywhere would be just stupid. It doesn't really make any sense, and it would be yeah, kinda killing the atmosphere for me.
And the problem is, the relator used Russian mixed with Russian mixed with English.
Yeah, like the living
So
on living
they
on Carthago with Russian letters in English words, which is totally stupid.
no, I mean actually open the next screenshot.
But yeah, that was also stupid at the beginning. What
Yeah,
is the what
that
is
was
the
stupid at the beginning.
what is the Russian R? The turned around R? What letter does that stand for?
Yeah,
No, I mean letter in the English book uh, alphabet.
yeah. Um, so that they
A J.
the letter. No, English alphabet doesn't have this
Ow!
letter. It's basically a sound in English.
Ah, okay, okay. I see. Yeah, this is completely stupid. I mean, I
So you have mix of Russian and English.
yeah,
Either can it fully to Russian or you can it fully to English.
yeah.
Like,
If you
don't mix those things together. It makes it feel like Soviets were expecting into American interference into this top secret objects and make it easier for them to adapt.
I mean, um, there is Russian down here, which also makes no sense to have English and Russian. But the K in Russian is K in English as well, right?
Yep,
So
they're only
and it
they're only letter that look like actually two letters that look like Russian is
yeah this
O is basically written like Russian F but without a line in the middle, and the R is basically I. Yeah,
the A isn't the A Russian as well, like this?
A is I.
Ah, okay. Yeah, but if I would see Katorga in Russian and I would know that it means that, I wouldn't need that in English anymore because I know what it means. I don't have to say it out loud or be able to pronounce it the right way.
You're welcome.
Yeah, 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 okay. Danke. So, wait, let me actually. I had a thought earlier because isn't that? No. Okay. Then it is like that. No, it's not. Huh. Okay. I thought I heard that term in German actually. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, this is completely stupid. Makes no sense. I mean, this hurts my eyes and my brain for so many reasons. So
And
yeah,
again, it's not like those little mistakes, not add, not ruining the whole game or something like that. But for me, they basically either couldn't either commit to their imaginary Soviet Union.
I have to go to the door real quick to give the neighbor the package.
Yeah,
give
okay.
give me a second. Yeah, you can talk about whatever.
Yeah, okay. So basically, as I said, for me, because of this freaking art style, the game was practically ruined. I wasn't enjoying it. I wasn't playing with interesting dumb manipulation power. Well, yes, I saw that. I saw the cool gun and stuff like that. I saw how they built a futuristic Soviet soldiers and stuff like that. And I definitely really like that horror elements that they make. But at the whole, I was just looking at the game and I was seeing all those little mistakes, and I was like, ah, for fuck's sake, that thing as well, this shit, that thing, what the fuck are you people? And it's all stacking up, and this game became just unbearable to me. I finished it just because I was already too deep in the game to just drop it.
But yeah, I understand what you mean. It's
And when we're talking about the scientist who made this mumbo jumbo, that time manipulation device, the first thing that he did when he saw the person with the stripes and
Stars and
and
Stripes.
the stars, he was like, ah, I guess now I'm defected to USA. I should do anything to make my lifetime works be useful for America.
Ah, yeah,
He
sure.
doesn't. He didn't even question it. He was like, "I have my invention. Okay, then I'm working with you. Then he wasn't like, "Hi, you have inventions. I
So
have a problem."
so he was more like, oh well, hmm. I mean, you made it that far already. Might as well tell you everything.
Yep.
Yeah, sounds totally logical.
Uh, and we are there to the script.
Yeah, almost. If yeah, okay. I mean, we talked about Call of Duty earlier, so
We mentioned the Call of Duty.
yeah, yeah.
So,
I think yeah, we're through.
well, before we're going to play, before my closing thoughts, and basically this thing. Oh yeah, and then basically need to mention blobs. Uh, let's get into Europe Universalis. And my problem with Europe Universalis is here it is.
Which one, the fourth?
I send you the link on Discord.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, open the Wikipedia article that I sent to you on Discord.
Yeah, the German.
Yeah, you definitely have this thing right in front of your eyes.
Yeah,
Second part, the thing that Max has
national
to.
socialism.
No, start with W. The right under that one.
Wait, which one?
The thing to number 2.
Wirkungsgeschichte.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Should I translate it now?
Yeah, just in a funny way, what is written right here.
Okay, yeah. Let me read that very quick.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so the terms um, Moscovian or Moscovita um, is used in National Socialist areas or society or whatever you want to call that, um, um, to be used as instead of Russia. That's what it's used for Ukraine and White Russia. I don't know the term.
Belarus.
Oh, that's I cannot pronounce it.
Yep.
Um, okay, so yeah,
White
it's
Russia is basically Belarus. It
okay,
has
okay,
word white in it.
okay, yeah. So it's Weißrussland is the German term for that. Um, to basically um, deny um, the how do you translate that? The context between today's Russian to Kiev, Russia, something.
Yep.
So yeah, with that, it basically um, denies the role of huh, how do you say that? The one bringing together Russian ground, basically. So,
Well, basically denying Moscow the position of inheritor of Kiev Russia, position of inheritor of Kiev Russia, and denying them the claim that they bring Russian lands together.
mm,
And try to click on Russian language just for funsies.
where
In Wikipedia, in other languages.
I never changed the language. Uh,
It's on the left side, a little bit
okay, okay.
about the first red icon. And click on Russian. That's Ukrainian.
Well, sorry. Looks Russian to me. I
Yeah,
know
you
that.
have another try.
Yeah, I know. Russia and Ukraine. And is that the right one?
Yep. And just scroll a little bit down, just for the for comparison.
Oh yeah, I mean, for the info and all. Yeah, I mean that's yeah, sure. I mean,
Article article a little bit longer than in German and have a lot more references.
the
So I'm basically going to say why. Well, you said why it used why term Moscovia it was used, but what in German article not said, but it said in Russian article that this term was invented by Lithuania because they try to deny Moscow the Russian land.
mm,
Lithuania used to collect Russian land as well, and there was a time where Great Duchy of Lithuania was called the Great Duchy of Lithuania and Russian land.
mm,
So yeah, basically, and when they united with Poland into Rzeczpospolita, Poland-Lithuanian Commonwealth, basically Poland continued the same line, like we are the inheritor of Russian land. We have the right to abuse and own this land that you live on, and well, it's basically was told specifically to Ukrainian, Belarusian people who lived in Lithuanian land,
mm,
and that's how they. Well, basically, Lithuania invented this term and Poland spread it across the Europe. So whenever it's written Moscovia, Moscovia never existed.
mm,
It was Rus or Russia.
Mm,
Italy itself, in the documentation, used terms like Black Russia, White Russia, and just Russia.
mm.
Basically, Rus. They used the term Moscovia as well, but we used to have a relation with Italia, or at least some part of Italia. It was the time when Italia wasn't even a united country.
Mm. You know what's kind of interesting? That the Ukrainian article is the most full and more pictures and maps and stuff than all the others.
There is a problem, but I refuse to comment on that because it's going to be definitely really political and
Okay.
mhm. Well, you already said it yourself. It used to deny the Moscow the position of inheritor of Russia.
Yeah, so the Ukrainian post might look at it from a totally different position.
Yep, we basically have a war on the screen right now. Uh, so yeah, that's my problem with the European Universalis. They used the name of the country that never existed,
Mm,
and people who have a historical knowledge because of at least some part of historical knowledge because of European Universalis know it as Moscovia, basically not as Russia, as we are.
mm.
And let's finish with Call of Duty because it's already getting into 3 hours mark and it's not
Yeah.
bad.
Wait,
I
that's
already mentioned a lot of Call of Duty when I talked about World War II. And right now I'm going to mention how liber how liberal scenarist from scenario writer from Activision, specifically from any game development studio who working on Call of Duty, with some of the interpretations of it. Mm, click on the video. Yeah, already. No,
yes,
no, no, not that one.
not that one.
The previous one. It's from Modern Warfare. That, for fuck's sake, that's pop-up drop the timer.
Huh? Oh,
Pop-up drop the timer. So it started from the start and not from the point when I needed it.
why did it not open it right at that? Ah. There you go.
So what's happening here? A group of Black Ops storming again a secret Russian facility. Well, not really secret Russian facility, but still. Air, air spaceport Baikonur to destroy a rocket. And what they just did, break up the freaking wall, kill a lot of scientists, and blew up the freaking, how they said it, ballistic rocket.
That wasn't a ballistic rocket.
And I tell you one more thing. This episode based on a true story.
Yeah,
So
but
yeah, we basically can end the video right now.
that rocket, oh, what's the name of that rocket?
Soyuz.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. How do you write that? English.
It's something like Unity or something like that.
I seriously have no idea how that could be written actually.
Uh, eh, Let me just make it a little bit easier.
That's not how you write it.
Check this script.
Soyuz, there you go. Okay, this is written like that. God damn it. Yeah, that's such a distinctive rocket. I mean, they modeled it nicely. Calling that a
Yep,
ballistic, calling that a ballistic rocket is a bit stupid because that thing is fucking huge. So that's not used to shoot freaking uh, bombs to America or anything like that.
yep,
That's fucking used to
and
shoot satellites into space and stuff.
yep. And basically, what we did in Call of Duty Black Ops, we basically stormed a civilian science facility, killed a lot of scientists, killed a guard that was put around this killed the guard that was put around, and we destroyed the freaking rocket.
Yeah,
And as I said, it's based on a true event.
yeah, Baikonur Cosmodrome. Also, they did destroy that rocket? For real?
It, it was in in reality, it used to be a catastrophe,
Okay.
a malfunction, break and stuff like that, and a lot of some people died from it.
Mm. Yeah, huge explosion. I mean, that thing is freaking huge. It is.
Yep,
Wait, does it say
I
this?
basically have a link specifically to catastrophe.
Yeah, now I wanted to see about the size of the rocket. They have a lot of stuff in there, but no
Uh,
size. Oh, here. Um, Total mass 44.5 tons. Um, Almost 20 meters. Wait, is that? No, that's the first stage. Oh, then the second stage. What is the full size, you morons? Okay,
let me-
so first stage,
okay, full
40.
size of this rocket is uh, from 30 and a half and 35 and 3 meters.
Yeah, mm, yeah,
Mass 130 tons.
yeah. That's definitely huge. When that thing explodes close to the ground, holy shit! That's like napalm. It's like that burns everything.
Yeah. And this catastrophe was pulled up in blogs like, hey, we are brave soldiers of the country that don't belong in this place. We destroyed this civil project for freedom and democracy.
Mm. Oh, that's actually a different page. Oh,
I
that's the module itself. Oh, okay.
I didn't recognize this event at the start, but when people who a little bit more familiar with the initiative told me like, "Hey, it's actually this and that," I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, that thing is still active. That's so freaking crazy. I mean, that's in space since the freaking 60s. That's insane. I mean, seriously, it's working still and being active. I mean, that pretty much shows how Russians build stuff to fucking last.
At least how we used to build stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's just freaking crazy. That's just freaking crazy. Since 67, that's freaking amazing. And it's amazing that it's still running until today because it was a whole different country and stuff going on when that was actually done and activated, and that they still managed um, to keep that running even though everything got split off and we want to be our own country, we want to be that. That's still working kinda. That's freaking fascinating.
We're
I
still
always
launching our spacecraft partially from Baikonur as well,
yeah
even though it's Kazakhstan.
yeah that's awesome. I mean, after what happened decades ago when everything broke apart, basically, it's really fascinating that that is still working and still running. I mean, you can. I think it costs 10 or 20 million or so if you want to go there. I mean, I could go there if I want to, if I had the money, but I don't. That's one way how the Russian space program is financed as well by by civilians going to space and what was it here, SpaceX, the Dragon and stuff like that,
Yeah,
and still being kinda in contact with ISS and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it's amazing that the thing is still flying, working, and operating, and it's crazy. I like that. With all the technological advancements we made over the last few decades, it's really nice to see something that old still being useful. So that's pretty cool.
yep, it is.
All right. Anything?
And when we're talking about Call of Duty, it's not like they not used to Russians as the enemies, uh, or at least as casualties. No Russians is a good example for this.
Yeah, definitely. Modern Warfare is one of the most controversial games um, of the last 20 years. Both versions, I think. One of
Three
the
of them.
one of the most controversial games.
Yep. And again, it's not like it's the other parts of Call of Duty not putting Russians into either shoes of incompetent or bad guys.
Mm,
Black Ops definitely not Modern Warfare. And I already told you how most of the Call of Duties who depicted World War II repeated fucking enemy at the gate.
yeah, I mean that's yeah. Call of Duty did a lot of World War II shooters. That's basically how Call of Duty started and grew into what it is today. So
I've and seeing how Russians depicted at all in Call of Duty. I'm finding that really a pathetic excuse when people trying to justify Russian as an enemy as it is a social justice thing. Like you can't put air, air, Arabic people as enemies. You can't put any other minorities, and Russia is just a safe bet. And again, it's not like Call of Duty didn't put Russians in the village shoes. And not only video games. The one that I'm The one movie that I can remember that was not so long ago. Okay, two movies. It's going to be Spy Bridge. It's freaking anti-Soviet movie, no matter how you look at it. And Red Sparrow. It's more blatant anti-Soviet movie.
Yeah, I actually saw that, and I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting.
Yeah, and when people who know a little bit more about history of Soviet Union that I do, looking at the shit, they always like, why the fuck a known person from KGB, let's say it like that, because you have no idea that's what was happening, putting his niece, who a world known ballerina,
Yeah,
into an international spies. He is well known. Mm, he is a well known person around the world as well. She well known person around the world herself, and people know that he is a relative. It sounds legit.
yeah, totally. Yeah, it's the whole movie is I don't know. I huh, I really didn't like the whole shit. I don't know. I saw a few I saw it a few times on I don't know where did I watch it? Was it Netflix or Prime? I think it was Prime. I saw it in the banner sometimes, and then I was like, hey, yeah, you know what? Why not? I like her as a actress, and I thought, yeah, maybe not. Maybe a little bit action, and maybe going more in the direction of Nikita, for example.
Mhm.
I was kind of hoping for a kind of Russian Nikita version. So yeah, which is also kind of weird because Nikita not a Russian name, although it's a French movie playing in France.
Nikita is based in Russian. Nikita is a masculine name.
Ah, okay. Yeah, but still, it's a Russian name because we don't have that name here.
We in we have surname Nikita.
Hmm.
So basically, so people wouldn't be like, why the fuck girl named Nikita? It
Mm,
was like, her name is Nikita.
mm, yeah. Okay, I see. It's funny when people bring dogs to my workplace and they name them Akira, and then it's a female because for me personally, and I don't know if that's right or wrong, but I know Akira from the movie Akira, and that's a guy. It's not a
Animated movie.
yeah, the animated movie, and the really expensive and awesome one from the what was it, the 80s?
Yep.
That was 88 or 89 or so, over 10 million
I,
dollars
I
back
thought
then.
about 84, basically.
I think it was mid or end 80s. It was an epic movie.
Okay, 88.
Haha! I know my movie shit. At least those decades back then, I was watching so much stuff. But I saw him much later because I couldn't watch it back then. 88 I was. When did I see Akira actually? I don't really know. 88 I was 13. So, but yeah, I
The
still,
mystery of the century.
and still today, I want to drive that freaking motorcycle. I want it. Yeah, some people try to build it, but most failed.
Well, yeah, Akira is a girl's name too.
Ah,
Japanese use it both way.
okay, okay. Yeah, for me, I just have the connection to a guy. But it's the same like um, there are um, there are a lot of normally female names used for guys in Italy, for example.
Hmm.
Like Maria, for example. That's it's not really anything special. So yeah, different countries, different names, different meanings and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And back to what I was talking about. Yeah, for me, putting the excuses like they trying to play it safe with current political struggling and with all those SJW stuff that Russians was used as an enemy. Give me a break. Don't give me your bullshit. It's never like that. Russians used as an enemy because it's basically a popular meaning. You should destroy Russians. You should destroy the ghost of communism. Russians don't exist. It's Moscovia. Fuck them.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff that is based around the 80s and 90s use Russian as an enemy because of the Cold War, basically. So
Yep.
Russia was it was always the United States and Russia, and we as Europeans, like me in Germany and all those countries, we were all always like, uh, hello, we're kinda in between of each other. Could you maybe fight in the other direction? Because or can you just make up your mind and stop with that shit because you're kinda on that side of the planet, you're on that side. Can you just keep your shit to yourself? I mean, so yeah, that's and lately with Putin as the leader, I mean, he's still kinda doing some badass shit, and I don't know. So but yeah, you saw in James Bond movies. After a while, they also had a lot of Russians and stuff like that, but it kind of stopped at one point, and they had to search and look for new stuff. Then they had some kind of media mogul trying to take over something. Then they had some other guy, and they kind of had to make up stuff. That's the reason I think why they remade old um, things like Casino Royale or things like that. So basically prequel stuff to the James Bond that we knew. But yeah, the first one was um, Love Letters from Russia. I don't know. I don't know what the English title was, but that was basically it was
The last one was Skyfall, if I remember correctly.
Liebesgrüße von Liebesgrüße aus Moskau. Love Greets from Moscow was the first. Or was it Dr.
Hmm.
No?
I
Huh.
don't remember. I don't.
Now I'm confused. I think it was Dr. No.
The only James Bond movie that I know that contain Russia in the name is From Russia with Love.
Yeah, from Russia with Love. Yeah, okay, okay, yeah, that's it. Different title in Germany, so I had to translate it. Yeah, from Russia with Love. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was the first one, right?
It's definitely a different Bond we're talking about.
Yeah, that's. I think that was the first one. The second. Ah, okay, the second. The first one was Dr. No then. All right. Yeah, Dr. No was the first, and From Russia with Love was the second one.
Oh, you definitely. Okay, you're talking definitely about the different Bond. I was like, when Craig was like in those movies. So, anyway, why we even started this topic and why we wanted to talk about stuff like this? Tell me, if I wouldn't told you how Russian and specifically started, would you even know that uh, if if I wouldn't told you how Russian landing started and you playing the ancestors legends, would you even bother to look how Russian land even started, or like, yep, okay, Russian land started because some crazy Vikings came to Russia and decided that they have nothing better to do.
Well, I still know that a game will always be a game and mostly be inspired by real life events. So it depends on how a game would transport what it wants to tell you. So Um, for example, Singularity, if I would play Singularity and seeing those posters and they're supposed to be in the 40s or something like that, I wouldn't believe it, but I'm a creative guy. I know that they didn't use that art style back then. So I would already know that most of the pictures they used, besides that one with Gagarin that I know is real, um, they're all made for the game. And then I would know, yeah, that's not real. So I would have to look more into that if I would be interested. But no, without you telling me and the viewers a lot of stuff, no, I wouldn't know shit. I would just say, hey, they informed themselves, so I guess that's right what they tell in there. But yeah, some stuff I would definitely question. But if I would go more into detail without having a Siberian friend, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, if I play a game from a Russian developer, that's a whole different story. So I think when a Russian company produces something from Russia, like Stalker, for example, um,
Ukrainians, let's get it like straight because yeah, we do have some companies that create but not as talented.
yeah, from the border on, it's basically for us over here, it's Russia. Yeah, we know there's Ukraine, there's uh, I don't know how to say that in English, but I know there are different. They're all different countries now, but it's still basically in general we say Russia to that. So yeah, I know Russia and
And
Ukraine and
that's the Soviet Union.
yeah, I know.
With Soviet Union, Russian basically became not the name of the people, but the name, not the name of a particular people, but the name of the most people who lived in Soviet Union.
Yep.
Joseph Stalin called himself Russian, even though he is Georgian.
Yeah, yeah. See, yeah, but we don't know if a company is from Ukraine or if they don't promote it, we don't know. So it's Russian. That's also the same with the letters when you said, "Hey, that's Ukraine." Yeah, but for me there are Russian letters in there, so I couldn't tell. I wouldn't have known if you wouldn't have told me. So
You might not be able to make this mistake ever again if Ukraine will pass the Reformation and they will change the alphabet from Cyrillic to Latin.
oh really? It's,
Yeah, there is a talks like that.
okay. So I could at least read it, not understand it, but read it.
Maybe.
Yay! But yeah, I always know that a movie is a movie and a game is a game, and both might be inspired by reality, but it is not. It can't and never will be. So, but most people don't
Again,
think like that.
I mentioned Spy Bridge not just out of the blue. Spy Bridge actually
I don't know that movie.
claims to be a little bit more historical than Red Sparrow,
Hmm.
but it only claims to be. They lied a lot. They specifically lied about Soviet, what was the Soviet spy.
Mm.
They specifically lied that th- they implemented that he was either disowned by the country or was killed or something like that. But in reality, so when he returned to the Soviet Union, he was pronounced as the hero of the Soviet Union. He was openly calling himself a colonel of intelligence, and he was basically he trained a new generation of spies.
Okay.
He not only he was not forgotten by the Soviet Union. Soviet Union definitely was like, we appreciate what you did for us, and he all that is now belonging to you because of that.
Mm. Hmm.
And
Yeah.
it's a little bit a different story that Spielberg said in his movie.
As a Spielberg movie.
Mo- Yeah, yeah, it's Spielberg movie. Why people need some random guy who know a little bit of history to tell that this guy wasn't that bad? That all things that happened because of some historical events. Why people need somebody who know the history when they couldn't learn this history from the same movies, the same video games? That's basically was the intention behind Lenin words that movie is really important and should pay attention to details. And that's the intention now. When they're building Russians as the enemy, they already building them as ruthless barbarians that can't be reasoned with, that should be only killed. And that's the reason. Even now, 30 years after this destruction of Soviet Union, and yes, that was a destruction of Soviet Union. It's not like people came together and said, "Yep, the Soviet Union no more." It was a distraction.
Yeah, it looked and felt like it back then. I was like, huh, what the fuck is going on over there? I mean,
And right now, when shown people, when people showing photographies with a bunch of people who's like, tear down the wall or something like that. Sometimes those pictures depicting the whole different event, like it wasn't like anti-Soviet meeting. It was sometimes a pro-Soviet meeting. But when picture is shown on the West, the journalist was like, "Can you see it? Those are Soviet people, and they're against Soviet power." No, it's not always like that. And even now, some people in West Germany, East Germany, think that East Germany was annexed by West Germany.
Yeah, East and West Germany, we still, I mean, we're Germany now, but it's still we're still kind of split even after that long time now. It's so stupid. Still people in East Germany um don't earn as much money as in the West, but stuff is also cheaper than in the West. But it's really, and the in East Germany, we have a big problem when it comes to Nazis in East Germany. There are not many foreigners living there in East Germany. There are, but yeah, there are a lot of Nazis over there. Um, the problem in East Germany is that there are not as many jobs over there than in West Germany. So if you're at home all the time, drinking, smoking, cutting your hair, and talking to other idiots who have also too much time, yeah, it's for Nazi propaganda, East Germany is open field basically. If they give them something to do, I mean it's stupid. They could do other stuff. They just get a PC and stream something. it's 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 more fun. It doesn't hurt anybody. You might actually make some money of it, maybe not. But yeah, East and West Germany, we're still kind of split.
And that's the problem. Even the, even after 30 years after destruction of Soviet Union, there are some powers that don't want the people come together. They
Mm,
don't want people to understand how Russians think. There are people who don't want to understand how Belarusians think, and so on and so forth. They have basically built themselves an idol to hate.
mm.
And yeah, if, if it's not Russian, it's going to be China. If it's not China, it's going to be any other country.
Yeah, and I don't think that will really change much.
Yeah, that's true.
If you need an
So,
enemy, you need to take him from somewhere that doesn't directly make the whole freaking country the whole enemy. It depends on the movie and what they do, but yeah, yeah.
yeah, so basically, I'm going to say a little bit different last word. Proletarian United. That's the only way how we can basically come over our difference and at least try to build a dialogue.
Yeah, I had when the pandemic last year started, I had really big hopes for that to bring the freaking world together and realize that it doesn't matter if you're tall, small, thin, fat, black, white, what any it doesn't matter. That fucking virus doesn't care for who you are. If you're a billionaire, millionaire, poor, it doesn't fucking care about that. So I was kind of hoping for that to be the final thing for us to unite as humanity, not as countries and shit like religion here. And no, fucking humans. Be humans, work together against one fucking enemy that the whole fucking planet has. And in parts it is working, but in other parts it's not working. Then you have countries like, sorry, the United States, which is really driving me nuts when it comes to the freaking pandemic. Texas governor, yeah, I opened Texas and I dropped the mask mandate. And then you have the other idiots who say, oh, okay, yeah, when the governor says everything is open and we don't have to wear the mask, I don't wear the mask. Wear your fucking mask or we have that fucking pandemic for the next 10 years or more. And I want to meet people again. I want to go eat somewhere for dinner. I want to, I don't know, have a norm, kinda normal life. I'm doing a lot alone, so it's not like I'm meeting every time with 10,000 people or so, and I'm not changing that in the future. But we have to fight against the virus that is killing us, and we have to fight against the climate that will kill us. And the majority is just not getting it. Even if somebody is losing somebody in their own family, do they wear masks afterwards? Yeah, maybe half of them. The rest, yeah.
Yeah, again,
So
somebody is really profiting from splitted world, and some people have something to say about that. Not specifically this person, but definitely at least to a particular person from Germany.
I mean, the thing, the United States doesn't have an idea of socialism. They don't have an idea of communism. Those are just words and oh, it's bad. Uh, no society is perfect, but it might sound
They used to have a socialistic and communistic movements, but those movements were basically literally destroyed after the war.
yeah, it's we should there should be a society that meets three or mixes three different societies together. A, a socialist, democratic, um, communism. If the
Soviet
problem
Union was a democratic republic.
no the problem is always there will always be one who wants more power, more money, more something than another one. And that's where the problem starts. If we would all be equal and get equal pay and Star Trek, if we had a society in like Star Trek is basically the mix of all the good societies into the more or less
Welcome to
perfect society.
communism.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody, if you need something, you can have it. Do something for the society and you can get something back. And if everybody got the same car, everybody got the same house, nobody needs to be jealous about anybody. Hey, it would totally work for me. I don't need a freaking big car, and if everybody got the same shit, that's the same. Nobody needs to be pissed about the fact that you cannot go on vacation or can do that. The whole fucking world cannot do that shit at the moment. So why would I be worried about, hey, oh, I cannot go to a concert, I cannot go to the cinema? Yeah, but it's not just for me, it's for everybody. So I don't fucking care about it. We all cannot do that. Hey, as long as we have electricity, as long as we have the internet and can communicate with each other, as long as we have food, hey, everything is okay. I don't need freaking movies. We have all streaming platforms now. Freaking movies, cinemas will not continue to be cinemas like they used to be in the past before the pandemic. Stuff will change in a lot of ways, but we have to realize that one we are one race. We're the human race. It doesn't matter when we're dead, we have the same freaking skeleton. It's with nuances, but it's still freaking a human skeleton. For an alien, it wouldn't matter. An alien cannot tell you, oh yeah, that's a used to be a black human, that used to be a Caucasian, that used to be an Asian. No, it's a freaking human. It's a skeleton. It's a human, and we have to realize that we are all in the same boat or on the same planet. And if we kill the planet, well, we might as well shoot ourselves because that's basically what we're doing at the moment with the climate. So we have one enemy. That's Earth. Earth wants to kill us. There's only one enemy. Earth doesn't need us. We need freaking Earth. But most people don't realize that until it's over.
And let's end on this because if we're gonna go beyond that, we'll definitely go into a little bit more political stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Different topic for a different stream.
yeah, and definitely on different channel.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. I don't. I mean, my political views are I don't have to um, hide them or anything. I mean, I'm an open atheist who hates religion. Um, I'm openly hating idiots, and I don't care where an idiot comes from. When he's an idiot or a moron, I don't care if he's black, white, rich, poor. I don't care. You have assholes in all societies. It doesn't fucking matter. If you're an asshole, you're an asshole. It doesn't matter. So yeah, and people who know me, and I mean, there's a reason why I don't have that many followers and viewers because I am like I am, I guess, and I'm hardly people. People say that I don't have a filter. Yeah, sometimes it's almost not there, but yeah. So I don't care if you do that on my channel or on your channel. It's
The
I
problem is, will your channel be banned for this? That's the problem.
and just chatting. I mean, it, if you're talking about stuff, it's not like we're promoting hate speech or stuff like that. I mean, we're talking about that before we do it anyway, but yeah, I mean, you have your political views, I have my political views. Um, we have a lot of same views about stuff. So growing up different, also different time. I mean, there are a few years between you and me. Definitely after three and
And
a
I
half
need to
hours.
go to bed because I have work tomorrow.
Yeah, so let me switch to yeah, I have to click that here. All right, so the transition is just not working the right way. Fuck. All right, so Lothar, as always, famous last words.
Yeah, I already said that. Proletarian United.
All right, well, that was part two, and for now, the last part of cultural and history lessons. So thanks, Lothar, for doing all the stuff and yeah, teaching me and everybody else a bit more about Russian history. Was really interesting. Um, okay, I'm gonna kick you out now. Bye, Lothar. All right, everybody. So yeah, that was definitely interesting. I mean, I've learned a lot of stuff, and I have to look up more stuff, I think. So yeah, it's good to have somebody who I can actually ask real stuff. I have friends all over the planet, basically. So um, I've seen pictures from Pakistan when uh, after Gaddafi was killed, um, and I was invited to go there, but not until the political um, stuff is done over there, for example. So if I really want to know 100% for sure what's going on in a country, I can just ask people who actually live there, which is good because, yeah, it's one of those words that we heard a lot over the last few years with fake news. But it's, I mean, not all news are fake, but a lot of news are or can be fake. And with technologies like deepfake, where you cannot tell if that person you're looking at is actually the person you're looking at, or the person you're listening to is really the person you're talking to. Um, so the more technology is possible with computers and stuff, the harder it gets to really know what is real and what is not. So if you want to really know what's going on, you need to be there or have somebody there to ask. So yeah, and that's also a problem with a lot of yeah, cliches and um how do you say, um yeah, I mean, for some reasons, might be cultural thing, might be society thing, historical thing, whatever, or personal thing, there will always be some country or some people or somebody you don't like. So yeah, it's kind of hard in movies to find bad. I mean, yeah, you need bad guys. Um, you can go online, find one. Okay. Anyway, I have to take a call. I have to do a few things. I actually want to eat something, but I think I'm just gonna continue to stream until a bit later. But I do have to do a few things, so I'm definitely gonna switch over my scenes for now.